Welcome back. The American Indian College Fund invests in Native American students and tribal college education, and they're based right here in Denver, Colorado. The College Fund has been the nation's largest charity supporting Native American higher education for over 30 years. The president and CEO of the American Indian College Fund, Cheryl Crazybull, joined me over Zoom. Cheryl, thank you so much for being with us. And let's just start, if you don't mind, by giving us a little background on the American Indian College Fund.
So the American Indian College Fund is, as you said, a national organization that serves Native students by providing them with support to access and complete their post-secondary education. We also work closely with tribal colleges and universities across the country. They're the organizations that established us for the purpose of kind of helping them connect with resources to serve their mission. Last year, we provided over $9 million in scholarship funding to students across the country. We've provided over $230 million in support since the College Fund began over 30 years ago. I think that one of the key characteristics of the College Fund is that we are a very well-established and charitable organization. So we have a very good reputation, always get real high ratings with charity organizations, and for the last 2 years, we have been a top workplace through the Denver Post initiative.
Well, Cheryl, those numbers are impressive. If you don't mind talking a little bit more about really why the work you do is just so important to the Native American community.
Yeah, so the College Fund recognizes that we have a ways to go to fill the gap in post-secondary education access for American Indian and Alaska Native students. According to the U.S. Census, a little over 14% of Native people over the age of 25 have a college degree, while in the general population, it's over 30%. So the College Fund really works to close that gap. We also recognize that the people that we're providing support to, have around twice the rate of it being in poverty compared to the general population. So the kind of support that we provide, financial resources as well as student success services, just really make a huge difference for that population.
Now, you mentioned this education gap, prior to the pandemic. I can only imagine how COVID has impacted your students.
The students that we work with live in communities where they have limited access to resources, they have limited access to healthcare. There are any number of housing and food security issues. The College Fund had just released a study in collaboration with the Hope Center from Temple University that the impact of COVID in our communities has exacerbated that. It's really brought to light the lack of access that our students have. Another big area for us is the digital divide that exists. The majority of the students that we support come from rural communities, and rural communities just have such limited access to technology that this really made student access to their educational services once they went online that much more difficult.
Yeah, I think we all wonder what post-COVID society is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Native communities will bounce back once this vaccine rolls out?
I do. Native communities, have historically been very resilient. Native communities have a lot of traditional knowledge and practices that have allowed us to support each other, and the values and traditions in our communities are very much upheld by tribal colleges and universities. I do think education will look different. I do think we'll see more, technology-driven education. I do think that we're going to have to do some work to recover the participation, particularly of younger people. We saw a pretty significant drop just across the country, but also among tribal students in first year entering students. And so, that's alarming to us as educators. We want to do everything that we can to, help those students see themselves as college students and to provide them with continued access to an education.
Absolutely. All right, well, before we go, let's end on a high note here. Where can people get more information on how to support the American Indian College Fund or actually just apply for a scholarship?
Yeah, so we have a website, www.collegefund.org. On that website, students can, like you shared, apply for scholarships, but there's other resources there. There's career education resources, mentoring resources, information about internships. And then, of course, there's the opportunity for people to take a journey looking at the work that the College Fund does and finding ways that they can support our work.
Cheryl, it's a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much. Consider a donation today. Your action will make a difference not only in one student's life, but also in an entire community for generations to come. Please visit their website, collegefund.org, for more information.